Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Today I want to respond to a question from the audience, and we're going to talk about the upcoming mini set that was discussed in the recent town hall. We're going to talk about possible prices for that mini set, as well as expected impact from the utility and the meta standpoint, and anything else we can speculate about here. So if that sounds interesting, stick around for this one. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Dwayne Cunningham, and my in-game is Infidel 1258. Let's get into it. So I had a question over here from Oscu, and he was commenting on I support Riftwatcher packs for DEC. This is a video where I was saying if they re-propose the idea of Riftwatcher packs being priced in DEC, that I would be for that, depending on the wording of the proposal. And Oscu comes in and he redirects the conversation around the mini sets. I'm going to read his comment and I want to respond to it. There's a bit of, let's say, skepticism around how well the mini set would be executed. Let's see what he has to say and then we'll respond to it. Okay. The high price of the excellent reward of the Riftwatcher cards can only be kept at those high levels if we don't throw them onto the market for much cheaper when they are going to be priced in DEC. Keep the supply low to retain the value of those cards. So let's stop there because there's things to talk about in that moment, and we'll go on for the second sentence and the third in a moment. So in the video, in part, one of the things I've talked about on this channel is that the Riftwatcher set is actually really amazing. I've talked about how excellent it is and how I'm excited about these cards, and there are certain ones that I really want to max out, and I've gone through and I've looked at all of them really and made comments on individually each of these cards and how great I think they are and why I think they're good. Now, some of them are less than amazing, but most of them are amazing. I really believe that. And part of what's been exciting about this series of cards has been the price retaining, like the value staying high. It has trickled lower in almost every case, but it stayed relatively stable to the point where very recently buying a Riftwatcher pack on the peer-to-peer marketplace and then opening that pack was pretty much a wash. Like the cards inside on average were equal to or greater than the cost of the pack. And so that's a testament to the value of the cards staying relatively high. And his point then is, that's something we've enjoyed. But if we do something like this where DC is now an eligible currency to buy Riftwatcher packs off of the marketplace, that would translate into more Riftwatcher packs being sold and therefore more Riftwatcher cards reaching the marketplace. And he then speculates that would drive the cost of those cards lower. And I think to some extent he's right, because as the supply of certain cards grow, the card, when there's more supply, there's a lower cost per unit. That's generally speaking true. But one thing that I don't think he's fully acknowledging is the fact that if you have to spend $5 to buy a pack from Splinterlands, which is what you have to do, even if we introduce the DEC option. So we go to shop, we go to gems, and you know that you can buy Riftwatcher packs right now for $5 worth of SPS. And that would translate to 191 SPS, which is 3 cents ish, right? Or if you get bonuses, you can add in your vouchers, and that changes the price slightly, giving you slight discounts. But I think his argument is saying that more units will be sold. But the problem, and that's true, if DC is opened as a purchasing option, that there will be, I think, more packs being bought. And that I see as a good thing. But so is he right that there's going to be more cards that would drive the value down? I think maybe, but also remember that those packs right here, whether they're bought with SPS or whether they're bought with vouchers or whether they're bought with DC, they're going to be roughly $5 a pack. The voucher changes it a little bit, but roughly $5 a pack. And so whether it's 5,000 now, I guess it depends on what happens with DEC. They might say, again, the wording matters. So I'll have to look at the proposal and I'll have to consider that. But if it says 5,000 DEC, then that is a discount on Riftwatcher packs. And I would expect that his suggestion, his prediction would prove true, because DEC is not currently at peg value. And as a result of that, you can imagine that you can imagine that you would take a discount on your Riftwatcher pack using DEC, and then you would sell those cards, and you might make a profit. Might. But he potentially is wrong if they don't say 5,000 DEC, but maybe they say $5 in DEC. So that's no longer a discount. It's just a different currency. And then I don't really believe that a lot of people are going to buy those and just flood the market with it, because they're going to take losses on those. And you might say, well, what about airdrops? And I think there's a complicated conversation here. Maybe some people would do this, what he's saying, but I don't really believe it's going to be as powerful of a force as he seems to be implying, because DC at $5 is going to be more than the burn value of those cards, or I mean the sell value of those cards. And you can come over here and you can see tools, you go pack value. Look at that right there. Riftwatcher pack right now is on average $4.44. So I don't buy that someone's going to rush out and spend $5 on a Riftwatcher pack and then quickly liquidate those assets. It's going to happen somewhat, but here's the real question. The question isn't, should we offer... The real question to his criticism is, do we want the Riftwatcher packs to sell or not? Because if we want them to sell, then yes, there's going to be more supply. I think the only real alternative to either sell them or not is burn them. I think that's the real... If I was to take the content of this comment and kind of run with it, it seems to me that the real suggestion here would be, well, let's just burn the Riftwatcher packs, and then there'll be a low supply of those cards, and then those cards will be worth more in the future. I don't like that idea. I feel like that's in part where this logic would lead. And so he might be right that it would, if we sell it for DEC, that the cards go down in value in the short term because supply grows. But if you share my opinion about cards in this game, then you'll believe that over the long term, those cards will get soaked up, consolidated, and then you get a lack of supply in the future. I'd rather see that ball start rolling sooner than later. I don't think Riftwatchers truly see their future price appreciation that is possible until we get rid of all the Riftwatcher packs. And now we do that in one of two ways. We sell them or we burn them. And in my opinion, putting them into the marketplace is going to be a better thing, especially since we know what land's going to need from the card requirements, as well as we know that what happens when there are no packs. I think we ultimately always need packs on the marketplace. Even I know that there's going to be a future of like a period where 3 months where we don't. I like that, but I want it to be a predictable amount of time. Right now, I think if these disappeared, we wouldn't be ready to release a new pack in 3 months. And I think that causes all kinds of ramifications that are good for people like you and me who own cards and bad for people who want to join the game. And so let's move on to the second part here. Oscu says, as the planned mini set, this should be a way cheaper than Riftwatchers. Maxing those sets is very costly and needed in order to maintain competitive at the highest leagues. Make the sets cheaper and low in pack number to keep scarcity prices up. This I can't agree with that. Make them cheaper and fewer. If we make them cheaper and fewer, they'll sell really fast. Now, I guess everything is a continuum. You might say cheaper means $4.50. You might say fewer packs means 2.5 million packs. Okay, that's maybe a conversation. But if you take this too far, you could say there's 300,000 mini set packs, and you could say they're $1 each. I think that sort of, and I got to be clear because his comment is generic enough that I don't know how far he would go with this. But do you see my point in that you could go too far? You could price them too cheap. You could make too few of them. And then when you talk about how he drives the point that it's hard to remain competitive in the highest leagues when you have to buy them. And you, in some sense, you do have to buy them if you want to compete at the highest level. So I agree with that point. But then the suggestion that you would be more able to get them if they priced them cheaper and made fewer of them is not congruent with the first part. Like if they're really that good and everyone needs them to stay competitive, then if you price them too low and you make too few, they sell out and you don't get them. Do you see my point? So that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And let's finish the last part here. It goes, but I know exactly how this will pan out. Millions of packs at $10 to $12 US and half price of used vouchers. I actually think he might be right on this part. I think they probably will make more than we need, and they probably will price them at higher than you want. And I don't see a problem with that for the reasons I just outlined as a criticism to the first part of the sentence. Because again, if we price these at $1 and we make 100,000 copies, they'll sell in the first day and you won't get them because whales will buy them and you won't. And then on the cards will be available on the marketplace, but you won't afford them because they're so scarce, they will drive a huge price value. They'll be so scarce, like some of the best cards, especially really pivotal ones. So you want them to be affordable, but the only path to affordability is that there be too many packs. So when we talk about this issue, we have to recognize that if we truly want to make them affordable, we need way too many packs. If we want to make them hold price, as you kind of pointed out in the first part of your sentence, your first part of your comment, if you like it when cards hold price, you actually want them, you do want to have fewer number of packs. But then again, that is incongruent with you actually getting access to those cards. There's a pull and a shove here. There's two sides of it, and you can't have both. So either they're easy to attain, meaning affordable and mass quantities, or they're really hard to attain, expensive, and you won't get them. So it's not one end and the other, it's one or the other. And let's finish the last thought here. He goes, no scarcity of the cards, and then no scarcity of the cards, and the need to spend $4K to max a set, not adequate in a bear market. And it shows the lack of business background in the management team of Splinterlands. There's some truth in that. You know, these guys are blockchain, they are gamers, they are, I think, doing an amazing job of navigating an economy that's super complex, and I don't believe you or me or anybody that's watching this content would be able to do better at. But he's not wrong. They've stumbled, they've fallen as they've done these things. They made way too many Chaos Legion. We had to burn, 2.5-3 million of them. I think we probably made too many Rift Watchers. You know, we've issued too many different cards and opportunities to buy all at once, and that flooded the market. And yes, it was in a bear market, but there's a lot there that I don't personally hold at their feet because, one, I couldn't see the bear market coming. If I had, I would have sold at the top. And I think everyone who's listening to this who's honest, if you really saw the bear market coming, you would have exited during the bull and re-entered to your maximum gain in the bear. But we didn't because we didn't see it. And so then we want to hold them to some higher standard, I think. We want to hold Aggro to Matt to a higher standard and say, you should have known. But we didn't know. And if someone out there did know and you played this perfectly, you sold the top and you bought the bottom, drop a comment below and let us know. I'd like to see your account. I want to see what you've done with this because, you know, frankly, that's an amazing vision. But, you know, myself and others didn't see that happen. And therefore, I don't hold Aggro to Matt and the team responsible for not calling the bear market more accurately or for maybe not fully understanding the economy, which economies are so complicated. But I see a lot of truth in this too. It does cost a lot of money to get a max set. The question though, and now I'm going to restate it, is it's not just, hey man, it's unfair that the cards are so expensive, let's make them cheaper. Because you said even in your first sentence that you want the cards to hold value. So we either make them cheap, which means way more copies than you would imagine, or we make them expensive, and that means very hard to attain and buy and acquire. And then there's middle ground, obviously. You can be somewhere in the middle. But there's no obvious perfect solution where everyone gets the cards they want. The prices are cheap, but they retain high value. Like that's like asking for your cake and you want to eat it too. It's, you know, it just doesn't make sense. It's actually, I just don't, and Oscu's a good friend of mine. I really think he's got a lot of wisdom when it comes to this game. I don't agree with this content or this comment in large part, but I do see it is expensive and it is a bear market and it has been tough, but I don't know the path to solving this. And in your comment, Oscu, I'm not actually seeing a logical solution. Again, we either keep the cards valuable by having too few copies, but that means it's hard for you to get it, where we make it super easy to get. We print way too many copies, and then they're going to lose their value. They're going to drive, the prices are going to go lower and lower and lower, but you're going to get the card that you want. So which do we prefer? Because there really is one reality or the other. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks so much for your time and attention. I hope you have an amazing day. And Oscu, you're going to get a raffle ticket for that free plot of land. We are getting real close to that. So probably next month, maybe in May, we'll be giving away a plot of land. If you don't know what I'm talking about, people who leave comments that turn into videos, you'll receive a raffle ticket, and I will hand out a plot of land to one of you. Also, if you support the channel financially with memberships, monthly memberships, or with one-time donations, then you can get a raffle ticket too. So thanks a lot. I hope you have an amazing day. God bless.